My name is Iesha, and I am a student at the University of North Carolina at Pembroke, and I am also in the nursing program. Discussing is blood pressure management for adults. So, what this video is going to be discussing is what blood pressure is, what it means, and how we should actually go about checking our blood pressure and actually managing our blood pressure. So, by the end of this video, I hope that you guys are experts on understanding all things blood pressure and you can understand and incorporate all of the tips that I'm going to be giving you on how to manage your blood pressure I hope that you can incorporate those into your everyday lifestyle and everyday living. Okay, so first, what we're going to be getting started with is, so when we think about blood pressure, we think, okay, so what is blood pressure exactly? So blood pressure is the force of blood against the arterial walls. Okay, so that's the blood flow in the circulatory system. So there are three things that the blood pressure actually depends on. So those three things are, we have the velocity of the blood, we have the intravascular blood volume, and third, we have the elasticity of blood or of the vessel walls. So we have all those fancy terms, but now we need to know, okay, so what do those terms mean? So the first one that I mentioned was the velocity of blood. So the velocity of blood means the rate of blood flow through a vessel, so through any vessel in your circulatory system. Second one that I mentioned was the intravascular blood volume. So that means the volume in your circulatory system or anybody's circulatory system. Circulatory system meaning the system that keeps your blood flowing, your heart pumping, everything with the heart and blood flowing throughout your body is a circulatory system. Okay, so the third one that I mentioned was the elasticity of blood, of vessel walls. Okay, so elasticity, thinking, okay, expanding and recoiling. So thinking elasticity of blood vessels, we've got your blood vessels being able to expand and recoil. Okay, so expanding and recoil depending on that blood flow. Okay, so now what we need to be focusing on is, okay, blood pressure itself. So understanding blood pressure and understanding that there are two types of blood pressure. Number one, the first one, we have systolic blood pressure. Okay, so systolic blood pressure is that maximum pressure that is exerted on the arteries when your ventricle contracts, okay? It's contracting in systolic blood pressure, okay? And during this is whenever your blood is going to be ejecting out of those ventricles. The blood is flowing out of those ventricles, okay? And I actually have a little visual here for you. Okay, so I have a ball, and I'm going to be using this as a little visual to help you understand the difference between the different blood pressures. Okay, so we have the systolic blood pressure, as I mentioned. Systolic blood pressure being when the ventricles contract. Okay, so the ventricles are contracting. Remember, you're squeezing that ball. The ventricles are contracting. That blood is flowing out and your blood is ejecting out through your body, okay? That second blood pressure that I'm going to mention is diastolic blood pressure. Diastolic blood pressure meaning the minimum amount of pressure exerted on, on the vessels, and this is whenever your ventricles are going to relax, okay? And this is whenever the ventricles are filling up with that blood, getting ready to release them for systolic. So when their systolic is contracting, those ventricles are contracting and squeezing this ball, the blood is flowing out, ejecting throughout the body. And then we have diastolic, relaxing. I'm letting that ball go, blood is flowing into my ventricles, getting ready for systolic. Okay? All right. So now we need to understand blood pressure and its different blood pressure measurements. So systolic, for a normal, healthy systolic range, we have between 110 and 139 for systolic and normal systolic healthy range. Then we have a normal diastolic range, healthy range, which is 60 to 79. Okay, so we have those two separate um, normal ranges for systolic and diastolic. Now we have the overall healthy range for blood pressure, which is it's 120 over 80. That is the normal. It being this 120 for systolic and 80 for diastolic, meaning that is the healthy overall healthy range for a normal healthy blood pressure. Okay, so and those knowing those numbers gives you the idea. It gives you that okay. So is my blood pressure high? Is my blood pressure low? Do I need to go see a provider? It gives you all of those things to think about just by looking at these numbers. Okay, and so now I'm going to be discussing the different types of ways to measure blood pressure. We have an electronic one here, and we have manual here, which is just a blood pressure cuff, and we have the stethoscope here as well. Okay, and I'm going to have a box here, and I'm going to be measuring the blood pressure with an electronic blood pressure system. Okay. Okay, so we have the cuff on the arm, and now we just need to turn this on and wait for the steps. Okay. Make sure their palm is up and the legs are not crossed. Now, if you are ready, let's begin. One hundred and 59 millimeters of mercury. Your diastolic pressure is 67 millimeters of mercury. Your heart rate is 79 beats per minute. Your blood pressure indicates mild hypertension. A possible irregular heartbeat was found. Measurement complete. Okay, so this blood pressure system actually gives you it measures your blood pressure with the systolic being at the top, diastolic at the bottom, and it also tells you if your blood pressure is high or is it low, and also told if there's an irregular heartbeat, and it tells you your pulse as well. So this is a great way to manage and monitor your blood pressure at home. Okay, like I showed with my volunteer, I showed the electronic blood pressure system, and it gives you all that information, which is really a great way to understand your blood pressure and actually take notes on okay, is my blood pressure too high? Is my blood pressure too low? What range am I falling in? Okay. And so I have tips for whenever you're looking at your blood pressure and you're taking your blood pressure. One is to make sure that your legs are not crossed when you're taking your blood pressure because this can actually affect the reading. Two is make sure that the arm is below your heart. This can affect the blood flow and it can also affect the measurement of your blood pressure. And make sure that your cuff isn't too tight. If your cuff is too tight, it can make your blood pressure higher, making it seem higher than what it actually is. If it's too loose, it can make it seem lower than what it actually is. So I've got some tips on healthy habits. Okay, so managing your blood pressure. So exercise regularly, 30 minutes. We've got a healthy diet, eating a healthy diet that is low in sodium. Sodium can make your blood pressure go up, which is what we don't want. Cut back on caffeine, and because that can actually also increase your blood pressure. And then number one is regularly checking your blood pressure. The CDC actually recommends regularly checking your blood pressure. Because it can actually help manage and manage your blood pressure. This really helps. It is the number one the CDC recommends, and it's very, very, very important. So that is all I have for you guys, and I just hope that you guys are experts on everything blood pressure now, and I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I thank you for taking the time out to watch this video. Thank you.